They did it. Jackson State did it. They pulled off the impossible. They were able to reel in the number one player in all of high school football. The number one college prospect in the country is headed to Jackson State to play for Coach Sanders, Coach Prime, Deion Sanders, and the JSU Tigers. We're going to talk about it and what it means for the future of HBCU sports after the bumper. Stay tuned. What is going on, everybody? My name is Jeff Lightsy Jr. with the Black Boss Channel and Victory Formation. Thank you all for tuning in. Be sure to hit the thumbs up button, like, share, subscribe on your way in. As Jackson State hit the thumbs up button, like, share, subscribe. Jackson State did it. They have landed the number one recruit. I believe I got my Jackson State gear on today because I'm totally biased. They have landed the number one player in high school football. Travis Hunter has flipped from Florida State. He was committed to Florida State for almost 2 years. Almost 2 years. The kid from Atlanta, Georgia, was committed to Florida State and is now instead taking his talents to Jackson, Mississippi to play for Coach Prime as the JSU Tigers loaded the bus to head right down to where? Atlanta, Georgia to play in the Celebration Bowl. Please leave your comments. Please put it up because he is going to Jackson State. Ricardo Bennett. No, this is what we're not doing today, Ricardo. No, that is not true at all. And I'm going to break it all down because I had Kari Thompson from the Clarion Ledger, who was the beat reporter for Jackson State football down there in Jackson, Mississippi. And he spoke about this yesterday. I'm going to talk about what he had to say, but why this is so significant, why this is so big. And we're actually going to watch Travis's commitment video. I want to go ahead and play that. Travis Hunter's commitment video when he decided to go to Jackson State. He chose Jackson State over. He had offers from everywhere, but a lot of people thought he was headed to Florida State, obviously. Georgia made a late push, but he decided to bail on Georgia and choose Jackson State. And this is incredible. He is the highest ranked recruit in the history of the SCS. He's the highest ranked recruit in the history of HBCU football since the modern rankings. Obviously, there's been a lot of Hall of Famers, Jerry Rice, Deacon Jones, Walter Payton, and even went to Jackson State. So there's a lot of Hall of Famers that went to these schools, but obviously those sites, these recruiting sites, weren't created when that was taking place. So I'm going to go ahead and play for you Travis Hunter, get used to that name. Travis Hunter's commitment video when he decided to pick Jackson State over all the other schools that he had his choice of choosing. Now, here's Travis Hunter. Here is him down in Georgia, and let's listen in on his commitment video.
This is real good too, but that ain't my real good too. I'm gonna say that for later. I like this one. It fit me well, but that ain't what I want.
This is him with the Florida State hat.
Check me out, throw me that hat.
Throw me that hat. The I Believe shirt, the JSU hat. He's headed to Jackson, Mississippi to play for Coach Prime. What a beautiful moment for that young man. What a beautiful moment for Jackson State. Oh my gosh, guys. I don't know if we can quantify how big this is. I don't really know if we completely understand. Once again, I got on my JSU gear today. I don't know if we can even quantify how huge this is for Jackson, Mississippi. It's super funny. It's super relevant because yesterday, Coach Prime was asked about National Signing Day. He was asked about it by his Barstool guys, and the Barstool folks were like, he told him straight up. He said, yo, I'm going to be honest with y'all. We're going to shock the world tomorrow. I'm going to go to my YouTube channel because I posted this on my channel yesterday, and Coach Prime said, we're going to shock the world tomorrow. Just you guys don't even understand what we have cooked up. Let me go ahead and share my screen. Let me do that once again because he told us, he foreshadowed this happening. He told us, he tried to tell us anyway. He tried to tell us that this was going to happen. Let's listen in. Oh,
you better take out 1,000 ads in the paper on leaving. Like, I mean, I would give you I want that on the record. I was the first guy not when you tried to credit
Rich Eisen.
Rich Eisen. I was the first guy.
First
guy.
You're
like,
right. You're right.
And by the way, you're built
For
this
NIL.
new transfer
You were
portal.
the original NIL guy.
It's like you literally created the transfer portal just to suit your own needs.
And the NIL. You were talking NIL before NIL. 30
well,
years
Dave,
ago.
let me tell you guys.
Listen to this.
Let me tell you guys.
Listen to this.
Signing day is tomorrow. I'm going on record to tell you guys we're going to shock the country.
Talk to him, coach.
I'm telling you right now, you've heard it from me. We're going to shock the country. You're not going to wait to air this what I'm saying.
All right, we'll cut it.
Yeah,
every news station.
Put that out today.
Every news station, I promise you.
The man called his own shot, guys. He told us yesterday, we are going to shock the country. You're right, DJ. He's literally changing the game right in front of our eyes. He's literally changing what's taking place at the FCS, at the HBCU level, right in front of our eyes. He literally told us yesterday, we are going to shock the country. I'm telling you guys, we have something in store that nobody is prepared for. And this is exactly what he was talking about. This is exactly what the number one. Think about this. This is the number one player in the country choosing Jackson State over Alabama, Florida State, Georgia. What's all them college football teams? Who's in the college football playoffs? Somebody list them all. Alabama, Cincinnati. We ain't talking about Cincinnati. Alabama, Georgia is in the college football playoff. Remember, you've seen Travis. I'm going to play the Travis clip again soon. You've seen Travis pick up the Georgia hat. He threw it. Alabama, Georgia in the college football playoff. Who else is in there? Cincinnati. Who's the fourth team? I can't even think of who the fourth team is. I don't even know who the fourth team is. But though all of these schools in the country, every single FBS program, and the man chose Jackson State. This is history being made. This is history in the making. This is exactly Michigan. Shout out to Connor. Michigan is the fourth team, and he chose them over all of them. He says the Master P put in the same work as Coach Prime meant. That's why I was so critical of Master P, because this is taking place right now. And I'm going to play for you guys. Let me go ahead and do that now, because we got a lot of people in the room right now. Be sure to hit the thumbs up button. Thumbs up, because this is big. This is big. Jackson State has landed the number one recruit in the country. Oh, man, I guess I lost. Here it is. I want to show you guys. I want to play for you what Travis Hunter is. Just a minute. It's only about a minute long clip. What Travis Hunter had to say after he committed to Jackson State. He signed. He's headed there. He's going to be in Jackson in the fall. He might even enroll early. I don't know. We're just leaving everything open. And then I'm going to play for you with my guy, Kari Thompson. Shout out to Kari Thompson of the Clarion Ledger. Shout out to Kari. He came on here, the same program yesterday, and said, I asked him straight up about Travis Hunter. I was like, yo, Travis Hunter was at a JSU game. You don't just use one of your official visits if it doesn't matter. He used his official visit to go to JSU the day that JSU played Alcorn. He was in the building, saw 60,000 black people cheering for JSU, more than what 60,000 people cheered for JSU. The same weekend or a week later, Mississippi State, SEC, played Ole Miss, SEC, in the same state of Mississippi. And Jackson State versus Alcorn had more fans in attendance than Mississippi State versus Ole Miss. They're in the same state. They're in the same state of Mississippi. Mississippi State, Ole Miss, two SEC powers, and Jackson State had more fans in attendance. Had more fans in attendance at their game than the two SEC schools. Now, let me go ahead and play what Travis Hunter had to say and why he decided to choose JSU over Florida State, over Georgia, over everybody. Let's listen to Travis, what he had to say. Make sure my volume's up.
Probably shocked a lot of people here today. So what was the ultimate decision that made you choose Jackson State today?
First, I want to thank Florida State for giving me the opportunity to come in and be a part of the program. Also, I got this one-in-a-lifetime chance to play with one of the greats. And also, I got a chance to make a change in history. Me being the first recruit to go to HBCU was real good for me.
How much you mentioned Deion Sanders? What was that process like? And when did you know? Like, did you change your mind recently, or did you know for a couple days?
No, I mean, it just built over time pretty much.
And just talk about playing for Deion Sanders with that experience. What you're looking forward to? How is that going to be for you? And how is the conversations? How have they gone between you two recently?
They were pretty good. I'm just ready to work. That's the relationship. Go ahead and go and get to Jackson.
He's just ready to get to Jackson, Mississippi. Oh my God. Coach Prime has upset the apple cart. The number one player in the country, the number one player in the entire country in all of high school football, Travis Hunter, has committed and signed with Jackson State over offers. His final three was Jackson State, Florida State, and Georgia. Jackson State, Florida State, and Georgia. Wow. I mean, guys, I can't. It's hard for me to put into words. I just want to give my guy Kari Thompson one more shout out because this was Kari last night. Me and Kari did a podcast last night. We previewed the Celebration Bowl and we previewed Jackson State's recruiting class. And Jackson State's recruiting class before this Travis Hunter signing, they only had 4 dudes committed. They literally only had 4 dudes committed. Jackson State is the team that typically pulls a lot of their players from the transfer portal. You're right, Andre. This is huge for HBCUs, and I'm going to talk about how this is going to change HBCU recruiting. Why HBCU recruiting in this win for Jackson State and for Deion Sanders is huge for the entire conference, for the entire SWAC, MEAC, CIAA, everything. This is crazy. Yes, he actually decommitted from Florida State. And let me give my guy Kari Thompson some love because Kari said this yesterday. Kari said this late last night yesterday. Let me share my screen again and let's listen into what now, if you guys want a dope follow on Twitter, if you're on Twitter, follow Kari Thompson. He is the beat reporter. He's at all the Jackson State games. He'll be at the Celebration Bowl. Follow me on Twitter, follow Kari on Twitter, and you'll get some of the first exclusive stuff from Jackson State. This is Kari yesterday about Travis Hunter. I'm going to ask him the question you're going to hear early signing day. Now, a lot of people saw, I don't know if you saw, I'm pretty sure you saw, Travis Hunter, the number one player in the entire country, was on the sideline at a Jackson State game.
Right.
Before I go on, Travis Hunter is a 5-star athlete. He was a 5-star receiver. Someone asked what position does he play? He plays cornerback and receiver. Cornerback and receiver. He is the number one cornerback. He was also rated as a 5-star receiver. Some sites have him as a 5-star athlete, but he is the consensus number one player in the country, by the way. Number one player in the country. Travis Hunter is headed to Jackson State. Those who follow recruiting, Kari, is that anything or is that a bunch of nothing?
Here's the thing. And this is you spoke about what you call
this is big what Kari says.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
This is the Deion effect at work. If Deion Sanders calls you and says, "Hey, do you want to play in front of 60,000 of our people? Do you just want to see what it's like?" If you're a kid, right? Do you not take that phone call?
You got to. You got to.
Like just to see what it's like.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? Like, and that's what recruiting is about. You get foots indoors, right? You get Travis Hunter to get in here, look around, see what it's looking like. You know what I'm saying? See what the sonic boom sounds like. See what the J sets are dancing like, right? You know, see everybody cheering, having a good time. That's what recruiting's all about.
So, should we make anything of Travis Hunter being there? Could there be a flip of the number one player in the country who is currently committed to Deion's alma mater, Florida State, ironically?
Right.
Is that something that we could possibly see, or am I getting ahead of myself?
I wouldn't rule it out. I mean, even if it's not Jackson State, I mean, yes, Florida State is great and they have their own football history. They're 8-13 under Mike Norvell. And Mike Norvell just got a contract extension.
I scratched my head on that one, but
that's a story for another day.
Yeah.
Let's not forget that this kid that's number one overall is committed to a team that is 8-13.
This is big.
For the last couple years. So
you're saying there's a chance?
I'm leaving the door open, man. Let me get myself on.
That is crazy. Now, shout out to my boy Kari Thompson. Shout out to Kari Thompson calling it. He called it yesterday that Travis Hunter was going to JSU. We're in here heavy, guys. Be sure to hit the thumbs up button, like, share, subscribe, thumbs up, like, share, subscribe. He said that Kari was headed there. He said there is a chance. Now, someone asked maybe if Deion and Master P start doing a collaboration. I mean, that would be really cool. Like, that would be really dope. And see, this is why I want to harp on the Master P stuff too much. But in my previous video, I talked about how Master P, I didn't like the way that he bashed TSU a little bit accidentally. I think he did it on accident, but he did bash TSU because this is possible. See, Master P. Now, obviously, it's not up to him and his son to turn around the TSU program, to turn around the University of TSU, and to make them focus more on athletics. But the fact that he pulled his son and cited medical reasons or the lack of funding or whatever, like you knew that before you went there. And so that's why him doing that was more detrimental than beneficial, even him sending his son there and then pulling him out and putting him in the transfer portal. But what Prime did, what Deion is doing, and why it's so beautiful, why it is so impactful, why it matters so much, is because he knew what he was getting into with Jackson. He knew, he said, yo, they don't have the facilities that they need. They lack the resources that I'm used to. Deion went to Florida State. He went to the school that Travis Hunter just decommitted from in the 80s, and he's an alumni right now, so he knows what it looks like. He knows what it smells like. He knows what those student athletes receive, all the benefits, all the resources, everything that they receive at a powerhouse like a Florida State. Deion also played at the highest level as a premier player at the highest level. So he knows what NFL facilities look like. He knows what NFL facilities are supposed to smell like, feel like, what the resources that are poured into NFL facilities. And he is a top guy over at Under Armour. So he sees what the high school players receive, because Under Armour obviously has one of the largest All-American games. Deion was a coach at the Under Armour All-American game every single year for years. So he knows what these recruits look for when they're being recruited. He knows what they need at their universities. He knows what to bring to an HBC university. And one thing that Kari pointed out in our live last night that was crucial, that I never thought about, because I didn't go to an HBCU and because I haven't been to an HBCU as far as like the football games. He said the infrastructure at Jackson State is different than every HBCU in the country. The infrastructure at Jackson State, the simple fact that they have a stadium that you can seat 60,000 people at, is nothing like anything I've ever seen. This is coming from Kari, who was a Hampton graduate. So he went to HBCU games for a long time. He said the infrastructure at Jackson State is unlike anything I've ever seen before in my life. The simple fact that they have the old Ole Miss Stadium and it sits 60,000 people in Jackson, Mississippi, that's amazing. That's different than everywhere in the country, because most places have, he said there's stadiums in the SWAC that seat 10,000 people. Jackson seats 60. And he said the thing about the JSU community that's different than a lot of HBCU communities and a lot of communities, period, on college campuses, is that a lot of people in Jackson, Mississippi went to Jackson State. Their dad went to Jackson State. Their granddad went to Jackson State. Their mom and them went to Jackson State. So the fact that all of them come out every single Saturday, they set the FCS record in attendance this year, but they had the record previously in 1997. So way before Deion came, Jackson State was setting attendance records in HBCU football. Way before Deion Sanders came, Jackson State was setting attendance record in FCS football, 37,000. Before they broke it this year at 42,000, and I'm sure it'll be 50 plus next year. They'll break it again next year. With the hype surrounding Deion's second full season, second full fall season, you got the number one recruit in the country. You got the reigning Eddie Robinson FCS Coach of the Year. You got the reigning Jerry Rice Award winner Freshman of the Year. And you're potentially bringing in the next Jerry Rice Freshman of the Year in the FCS. The SWAC Newcomer of the Year in Shedeur Sanders. Potentially bringing back the SWAC, or the Freshman of the Year was Shedeur Sanders. The Newcomer of the Year was James Houston. Potentially bringing him back. This is crazy. Reggie says FSU can get 20,000 to attend most home games this year. It's their loss. So think about this. Jackson State is out-dueling ACC programs. I told you how they have more fans than the Egg Bowl, which is Mississippi State, and Ole Miss, which is two SEC programs in Mississippi, in their own state. This is why they're able to do what they're able to do. And then they have Coach Prime, my guy with the Midas touch. Andre says, I knew my nephew was going to surprise football nation, but I didn't know he was going to do it like this. So proud of you, nephew. That big TV money back to absolutely. Jackson State will not. You remember? Okay, guys. Do you guys remember when Deion talked about JSU playing on ESPN 37 and ESPN 122, and how he hated that, how he hated how his team, the team family? Because now, I mean, these guys are good national recruits. You got guys from Florida, Georgia, from California, from, the Midwest, Texas, all kinds of stuff on JSU. So obviously the parents can't go to every single game. The parents just can't go to every single game. When you have national recruits, your parents just can't go to every single game. So it's easier to recruit when you can say, hey, I'm from California. We can't make it to Jackson, Mississippi every week. But if I can cut on my TV and see my son on ESPN, that helps. That helps a lot. And when you bring in the number one recruit in the country, that's going to help a lot. That is going to help a lot, a whole lot. When they make the NCAA game again, you're going to have to add Jackson State because now they're tagging guys, they're picking up guys from top programs in the country. Oh my God, Travis Hunter, the number one player in the country, has committed and signed to Jackson State over Georgia and Florida State. He was committed to Florida State for almost 2 years, guys. Committed to Florida State for over 2 years. Florida State, I think, this is my theory. So Florida State, you heard Kari talk about Florida State and their coach, Mike Norvell, who's been 8-13 over the first couple of years at Florida State. Florida State, he's been really bad. He kind of lost the locker room. Players that talk bad about him, et cetera, et cetera. But Florida State actually just gave him a contract extension. And I believe part of the reason why they gave him a contract extension is because they wanted to secure Travis Hunter. See, a lot of people would negative recruit against Florida State and say, man, your coach not going to be there next year. He's bad. He's not going to be there next year. So you need to come ahead and sign with us. I'm sure that's not what Deion said because Deion ain't got to say that. But that's what other schools, other teams were negatively recruiting against Florida State. So Florida State gives Mike Norvell a contract extension this week, trying to make sure they secure Travis Hunter, who once again is the number one player in the country. And guess what? They just gave Mike Norvell an extra year. Travis Hunter still didn't choose their school. And not only did he not choose their school, he didn't diss their school for Georgia. He didn't diss their school for Alabama, which you might feel respectable about. He ditched your school for an HBCU, an FCS program. You lost the number one recruit to an FCS program. You know they're kicking themselves in the ass over there at Florida State. You know they are. And you lost them. Not only did you lose them to an HBCU, an FCS program, you lost them to your greatest football alumni in the history of your program, period. You lost them to your greatest football alumni in the history of your football program, period. Primetime, Deion Sanders, College Football Hall of Famer, NFL Hall of Famer, Super Bowl champion. The greatest cornerback ever. Maybe the greatest athlete ever. So why wouldn't you choose Jackson State? Why wouldn't you choose Deion Sanders? Why wouldn't you choose primetime? Why wouldn't you want to be there? Why wouldn't you want to be in that magnitude? Why wouldn't you want to go hang out with those dudes? Why wouldn't you want to go play for him? Come on, man. Come on. Come on, man. Oh, my God. I'm so hype about this. Michael McCubbs, shout out to Michael McCubbs. He says potential TV deal in the future, especially if Deion keeps decorating his career as well as with the program. See, the TV deals is coming. Everything's coming, guys. Everything is coming because you don't pull this off. You don't pull this off without having major backing. You don't get Travis Hunter and potentially more. He's not done. He only got 5 commits right now. He's very, very far from done. And I'm going to play the Travis Hunter clip again. He's far from done. But you don't pull this kind of move off without having something backing. Now, a lot of people are blaming NIL. Oh, Deion Sanders paying these kids, NIL, blah, blah, blah. Man, cut the crap. Cut the crap because I just seen a thing, and we want to talk about some NIL. I just seen a thing, NIL, where Texas paid their entire offensive line $50,000. Any kid that plays offensive line for Texas, it can make $50,000. So NIL in the Power Fives, trust me, Florida State, Georgia, Alabama have way more money than Jackson State. Period. There's no other way to put it. Florida State. Oh, and I never showed you guys Travis's actual. We're going to look at that too. Travis's actual tweet that when he made it official. So let me go ahead and show that to you right now. This is when Travis Hunter posted on Twitter. This is what he posted on Twitter and made it official. He said, it's official. #JSU, #Go Tigers. And he added the Jackson State football Twitter account. And so this is what he says. This is what he said. He said, Florida State has always been a beacon for me. I grew up down there. So he actually grew up in Florida, but played his high school in Georgia. He said, I grew up down there. That's where my roots are. And I never doubted that I would play for the Seminoles. It's a dream that is hard to let go of. But sometimes we are called to step into a bigger future, the one we imagine for ourselves. For me, the future is at Jackson State University. Jerry Rice, Doug Williams, and of course the legend, JSU's own Walter Payton. Historically Black colleges and universities have a rich history in football. I want to be a part of that history. And more, I want to be a part of that future. I am making this decision so that I can light the way for others to follow and make it a little easier for the next player to recognize that HBCUs may be everything you want and more. An exciting college experience, a vital community, and a life-changing place to play football. I look forward to working with the iconic Deion Sanders, and especially with my fellow Tigers. Along with Coach Prime, they have made me feel like I'm already a part of the team, like I'm home. And I can't wait to welcome the next class of top athletes to the family of HBCUs. Travis Hunter. Wow. This kid gonna make me shed a tear, man. This kid is going to, this is one hell of a decision for a 17, 18-year-old kid. This is one hell of a decision for a 17, 18-year-old kid. You're right, Bob. This is huge. Coach Prime is tapping in on national talent. I would pick Jackson State because I want to be on the ground floor of history. And that's what it sounds. Robert Bob Jackson, you're absolutely right. And that's exactly what it sounds like Travis Hunter wanted to be a part of as well. This is something, I don't know. I mean, this is the biggest upset in recruiting history ever. This is the biggest upset in the history of recruiting, of football recruiting, period. There's been other flips. Kids flip all the time. Kids flip every single day. But there's never been a kid of this caliber flip to a school like Jackson State, to an HBCU, to an FCS program. So think about what Travis Hunter is giving up, right? Think about, because that's what these lunatic fans are going to say, like, oh, you're giving up a chance to play for a national title. No. No, he's not. Jackson State about to play for a national title this week against South Carolina State. So no, he's not giving up a chance to play for a national title. You're hurting your draft stock. No. No, you're not hurting your draft stock. Last I checked, Deion Sanders is always and never debated, never disputed, the undisputed greatest cornerback in the history of the NFL, who still has NFL ties, worked for the NFL Network for a long time, still has corporate ties with Pepsi, with Under Armour, with, Gillette, with all of these. So you're not giving up any of that because you can always get plugged in with Beats by Dre. His son just was the first NIL athlete to sign Beats by Dre. So you're not giving up any of that. Oh, they're giving you the bag underhand. I just told you there's a story where Texas offensive linemen have been paid $50,000. That don't sound like underhand to me. That sound like blatant. Those was the news articles printed out about that. So this is historic. This is crazy. Oh, so it looks like Mike Norvell has a reaction to losing Travis Hunter. This is coming in live. Looks like Mike Norvell, who's the current head coach of Florida State, has a reaction to losing Travis Hunter. I'm going to see if I can pull that up. But yes, Travis Hunter has decided to, okay, so I'm going to read to you. Yeah, this is groundbreaking. Is this considered a W if the recruit? Okay, so John has an interesting question. So John says, is this considered a W if the recruit? So first of all, my question would be, why would he only stay 1 year, John? My only question is, why would he only stay 1 year? Because that would be a different question. Like, what the hell's going on? Why would he only stay 1 year? I highly doubt he only stays 1 year. Why? Because Deion is going to be here for the foreseeable future. Deion's son, Shador and Shiloh, are going to be here for the next 2 to 3 years. And Travis Hunter is instantly going to hit the field. He's an impact player. If you guys never seen Travis Hunter highlights, Google Travis Hunter highlights. Like, literally Google this kid. This kid is nasty. Like, he's not rated number 1 in the country. He's not coming out of like Iowa or Indiana or even my home state of Kentucky. He's coming out of Georgia. He played in 7A, which is one of the highest classifications down in Georgia. His team went 15-0 this year and won their first ever state title. Like, the kid is real deal. So I don't see why he would only stay 1 year. And trust me, he's not going alone. He's not the only player that's going to Jackson State, whether it's via transfer portal from big-time Power 5 schools or other 4 or 5-star recruits. He is not going to Jackson State by himself, period. So I don't see him only staying 1 year, but that's just me. That's just me. Make sure we're in here heavy, guys. Be sure to hit the thumbs up button. Just like, share, subscribe. I'm going to see some of these other. It says Deion Sanders. It's the true period. Period, Willie. He's the true definition, because here's the thing. Deion, when he took the job at Jackson State, he said he was called by God to come to Jackson. A lot of people gave him crap for that. Like, a lot of people poo-pooed on that and was like, you called by God, man. You only going to be there for a few years and dip. You're only there just to get your coaching credibility up and dip. You know, you're only there. You can't really coach. You're going to fail. The SWAC, that's a mediocre conference. HBCUs have no longevity as far as getting top recruits and winning a bunch of games and beating top programs. Like, why are you even doing this? They pay HBCUs, blah, 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 blah. You heard all of this when Deion, but he said he was called by God to shine the light on HBCU programs. And even I was like, that's a tall task, Coach Prime. That's a tall task, to be called by God to shine a light on these programs. Like, that's asking a lot of yourself. That's not just asking a lot of your program, and not just asking a lot of the people you have connections with and the resources that you have connections with. That's asking a lot of yourself to be called by God. But when you make a statement like that, you have to deliver. And he just delivered. He delivered with the first 11 win season. He delivered, first of all, he delivered by upgrading the facilities. New practice field, new game field, new locker room, new jerseys, new endorsements, new media coverage like myself and others who have sprouted up across this country to cover HBCU football. Why? Because of what Coach Prime Deion Sanders has done at Jackson State specifically. All of that. He upgraded the facility and impact. Then he put the product on the field. He put a product on the field, a winning product on the field, period. A winning product on the field, the first 11-win season in the history of Jackson State. The first SWAC championship at Jackson State since 2007. Undefeated in the SWAC the first time since I don't know when. SWAC champions, SWAC East champions. Orange Blossom Classic, it revived, and you won that. The Classic down in Memphis against TSU, you won that. You only lost one game to UM Monroe, an FBS program, and even in that game, you only gave up 12 points. James Houston, one of the top players in the SWAC, he wins Newcomer of the Year, transfer from Florida. Aubrey Miller, impact player on defense, transfer from Missouri. Shedeur Sanders, Newcomer of the Year, Jerry Rice Award winner, 4-star recruit. Come on, man. Come on. Like, who else is doing this? Who else has done this? Come on. Now, you mentioned that John Master P. Son. See, it's different. There's a difference in things with Master P. Son, and I talked about this a little bit, but I don't want to keep harping on Master P because I like Master P, but I am critical in this space. Master P. Son, the difference between him and like a Travis Hunter is that Master P. Son, I think, got in. Master P. and his son, Hersey Miller, by the way, Hersey Miller, I think they got in over their head. One, Hersey Miller wasn't playing that much. He was only getting 10 minutes a game. He wasn't scoring that much, and then he got an injury. And injuries have to be expected when you play a sport, especially at the Division I level. But I think they didn't take into account the resources and the facilities at TSU before they decided to go there. And so because of what happened, Master P pulled his son Hersey Miller and said, because of the lack of resources that take place, well, Master P, you said you wanted to be the change at TSU. Well, go and be the change. Deion said he was called by God and was going to be the change at Jackson State. Boom, he did it. He did it in every aspect. On-field product, off-the-field product. He did it. Recruiting. He did it. He literally did it. He's literally doing what the man said he was going to do. And you can't do nothing but tip your hat to that. You just got to tip your hat to it because it's amazing. Also, kids in the transfer portal choosing Jackson State. All roads lead to Jackson, Mississippi. All roads lead to Jackson, Mississippi. If you guys are just now tuning in, hit the thumbs up button. Deion Sanders and Jackson State has pulled off a recruiting miracle. They have snagged and signed the #1 player in high school football, Travis Hunter. Let me go ahead and run that video one more time because I know we got some new people in here. I want to run the video where Travis Hunter chose Jackson State over Georgia, over Florida State. This is big. This is big. Let me go ahead and show. This video was captured. Oh, Let me make sure I do that. And keep leaving your comments because I'm showing all the comments. I'm trying to respond as many as possible. It's a lot of you guys on here. So let's see. Joe Cook tweeted this out. This is Travis Hunter, the #1 player in the country, and he chose Jackson State over Georgia and Florida. Let's listen. I believe Jackson State hat. He's going to JSU. It's beautiful, man. His classmates can't believe it. The students can't believe it. The faculty can't believe it. Hell, his own mom and daddy probably can't believe it. He's pulling out the Jackson State jacket. JSU, just in case you didn't know it was official. It's official. Travis Hunter is headed to Jackson, Mississippi. The #1 player in the country chose JSU. I mean, wow. Wow. The recruiting sites. Here's another thing, man. The recruiting sites, I bet they don't even know what to do with this. They're like, what the hell? Now somebody said JSU. It says go prime time. I believe FSU. Yeah, they're sour. They're leaving all kinds of negative comments on this kid's post. They're leaving all kinds of negative comments. The FSU people are sour puss right now, like, because they are dragging this 17, 18-year-old kid because he decided to do something bigger than himself. The thing is, a lot of people are going to remember this day because I think a change is coming to the SWAC. I think a change is coming to HBCU sports in general. And people are going to remember this day. When we start seeing more Jackson State games on ESPN, one Jackson State and the SWAC get big-time contracts like sporting contracts, people are going to remember the day the Deion Sanders decided to be the head coach at JSU and the day he landed the #1 player in the country. Those are going to be 2 days that they're going to forever stick out in everybody's mind because those are 2 significant days. These are 2 significant days. Now, Mike West says, shout out to Mike West, he says signing #1 player in the country is big, and he thinks they're going to have a top 20 class. A top 20 class? JSU with a top 20 class? Oh my God. If they pull off a top 20 class, I don't even know. I don't even know what to say. Now I'm going to play for you. For those of you tuning in late, shout out to you guys for tuning in late. My name is Jeff Lightsy Jr. with the Black Boss channel. Be sure to hit the thumbs up button, like, share, subscribe. I'm going to play for you Travis Hunter. I played this earlier, but I'm going to play it again, and then I'm probably going to get off here, guys. Travis Hunter's reasoning. He's on camera stating why he chose Jackson State over Florida State, why he chose Jackson State over Georgia, why he chose Jackson State over every school in the FBS and every other school in the country. And it's a good reason, and it makes a lot of sense. Let me go ahead and share my screen. That way you guys can see for yourself why this is so monumental, why this is so big. Let's share the screen. Show this is Travis Hunter and why he chose Jackson State.
Probably shocked a lot of people here today. So what was the ultimate decision that made you choose Jackson State today?
First, I want to thank Florida State for giving me the opportunity to come and be a part of the program. Also, I got this one in a lifetime chance to play with one of the greats. And also, I got a chance to make a change in history. I mean, me being the first to be able to go to HBCU is real good for me.
How much you mentioned Deion Sanders? What was that process like, and when did you know? Like, did you change your mind recently, or did you know for a couple days?
Nah, I mean, it's just built over time, pretty much.
And just talk about playing for Deion Sanders, what that experience, what you're looking forward to. How is that going to be for you, and how is the conversations? How have they gone between you two recently?
They were pretty good. I'm just ready to work. That's pretty much it.
He's ready to go ahead and get to Jackson, Mississippi, guys. This is going to change HBCU sports forever. Coach Prime said he was called by God to do things like this, and this is exactly what he's doing. Folks, and this is big, Andre. Shout out to Andre Edmonds for saying, he said, I'm going to go buy me a JSU hat now. The only way this momentum continues, and I want everybody listening to make sure you pay attention to this. The only way this momentum continues, not only for Jackson State, because this is huge for Jackson State, but honestly, this is big for all HBCUs, which are struggling across the country when it comes to finances and funding. The only way this type of momentum continues is if we continue to pour our resources, our attention into the HBCUs across this country. I got my JSU gear on right now, and not only JSU, Grambling, Bethune-Cookman, Prairie View, Southern, everybody. You have to, whatever your Hampton, Howard, Spelman, Clark Atlanta, whatever, you have to pour your resources, whatever that is. For me, it's a media platform for in money, in dollars. We have to support our HBCUs. That's the only way this continues. That's the only way this type of thing continues to happen. That's the only way our HBCUs will continue to thrive, and that's the only way they're able to pull off things like this. Travis Hunter, one of his biggest reasons for all the reports, Travis Hunter, the reason why he chose Jackson State is because he went to a game where he saw 60,000 people in the stands that looked like me and you. Period. He went to a game and saw 60,000 people, of our people, how Coach Prime puts it, of our people in the stands, and said, yo, this is nothing like anything I've ever seen before. You can go to Florida State and see 80, 90, 100,000 people in the stands. Michigan, see 100,000. Ohio State, see 180, 100,000 people in the stands at the Horseshoe. Nebraska, all these big Power 5 people. But most of them don't look like you. Most of them looks like your coach. Most of them look like, you know what I'm saying, look like grandchildren of Nick Saban. Like, let's just be honest. But at Jackson State, you're going to see 60,000 people that look like your mom and them, your grandmom and them, your granddaddy and them. All of them look like you, cheering for you, wanting you to be the best you can be, wanting you to be the superstar, wanting you to get drafted and go make the millions. They look like you. And then my boy Kari Thompson said, then you see the Sonic Boom playing your favorite song. You get Lil Boosie on the sidelines. You get Wallow and Gilly in your locker room. You're getting Young Dolph, rest in peace, in your locker room. People of that stature. Oh, and Terrell Owens, Hall of Fame receiver, hanging out at your camps, at your football camps. Tyrann Mathieu, hanging out, Super Bowl champion Tyrann Mathieu, hanging out at your football camps. Deion Sanders working out with Tom Brady. These are the luxuries you get when you go to an HBCU. These are the luxuries you get when you play in the SWAC. These are the luxuries you get that you don't get at Florida State. You don't get those at Florida State. You don't get those at Georgia. You don't get that stuff at those other places. And Travis took all of that information in. Oh, and by the way, you play a position, cornerback, that the head coach happens to be the greatest ever at. It's a no-brainer. It's a no-brainer. Oh, and you want to say, oh, well, at Florida State or not all these other places, you can get the big NIL deal. Well, Shedeur Sanders got an NIL deal from Beats by Dre. Antoine Owen, the defensive lineman transfer from Georgia Tech, was the first college football player in all of college football to sign an NIL deal. You guys hear me? Antoine Owen, a defensive lineman for Jackson State, was the very first college football player to sign an NIL deal, period. So, yes, you're going to get your NIL money too, by the way. And you're going to graduate. And you're going to play at a packed house every single week in front of all black people. And your head coach is going to swag, surf, dance, chop it up, do all kinds while teaching you the fundamentals of the game and how to prepare and to be the best cornerback you can be, not only on the team, not only in the conference, not only in college football, but also in the country. Be on draft boards. You're going to get evaluated. All of the things that you're going to do at Jackson State. Oh, and you have a chance to win a Celebration Bowl, HBCU National Championship. So you can win titles, you can win rings. And you're still going to get your money, both NIL and drafted in the NFL. Why wouldn't you choose Jackson State? It's a no-brainer. And Travis Hunter, in this quote, we're going to run his tweet back again. In his tweet, he said, man, this was a tough decision, but I made this decision so the next top recruit, the next so-and-so, it doesn't have to be a hard decision for them because I've already did it. They're going to see me do it. They're going to see me thrive, and they're going to want to be there. You can have fun. Shout out to DW. You can have fun and family and be celebrated. You can have fun, be with family, and be celebrated. Let's look at Travis's tweet one more time. He said, I made this decision so the next kid doesn't have to worry about making it because they're going to see me and us as a team thrive, and they're going to want to be at Jackson State too. And if not Jackson, then Grambling. If not Grambling, then Texas Southern. If not Texas Southern, then Tennessee State. If not Tennessee State, then Prairie View. If they don't want to play with us, they're going to want to beat us. If they don't want to play with us, they're going to want to beat us. He says, Florida State has always been a beacon for me. I grew up down there. That's where my roots are. And I never doubted that I would play for the Seminoles. It was a dream that is hard to let go of. But sometimes we are called to step into a bigger future than the one we imagine for ourselves. That sounds like that came from Deion. Because Deion, you guys know Coach Prime is very spiritual. He's a God-fearing man. He's very spiritual. And he always talks about how he was called by God to be down there. To be all these persons selling Celebration Bowl tickets. He was called by God to be down there at Jackson State. So that last line where he says, but sometimes we are called to step into a bigger future than the one we imagine for ourselves. That sounds like a line straight from Coach Prime. Sound like something. Ooh, that is a sweet recruiting pitch right there, by the way. Shout out to Coach Prime for using that, if he did use that. For me, that future is at Jackson State University. Jerry Rice, Mississippi Valley State. Doug Williams, Grambling State. And, of course, the legend, JSU's own Walter Payton, NFL Hall of Famer. He held the rushing title, Super Bowl champion, et cetera, RIP Walter Payton. Historically Black colleges and universities have a rich history in football. I want to be a part of that history and more. I want to be part of that future. I am making this decision. This is key right here, so that I can light the way for others to follow. Make it a little easier for the next player to recognize that HBCUs may be everything you want and more. An exciting college experience, a vital community, and a life-changing place to play football. I look forward to working with the iconic Deion Sanders, and especially with my fellow Tigers. Along with Coach Prime, they have made me feel like I'm already a part of the team, and that's the best way to recruit a kid. Make them feel like they're already a part of the team, like I'm home. And I can't wait to welcome the next class of top athletes into the HBCU family, into the family of HBCUs. Signed, Travis Hunter. Oh my God, this is incredible. We're in here really heavy too, by the way, guys. Be sure to hit the thumbs up button. We're in here really heavy. Travis Hunter, the number one player in the country, has committed and signed to Jackson State University. He's headed to Jackson, Mississippi. He's headed to JSU. And please, please, please do not believe he is the only one going. Other people are going to follow. He's not going by himself. Other kids, whether via transfer portal, high school top commits, top recruits, are going to go want to play with him, play with Shador, play for Coach Prime. It's a win for HBCUs. The more money brought in upgrades the entire university. That's the more money for academic programs. Bingo. That will attract some of the brightest students across the country. Now, build that science complex or a medical school. They can add to other academic programs. You're right, Bob. Deion Sanders makes HBCUs great. You're absolutely right. These colonizers are so mad. They're beyond mad. That's the thing, Veggie Hippie. They are beyond pissed that this young man decided to go to JSU. He's got another 5-star strong safety. I must be late on that because I haven't seen that yet. Let me check. Let me check Jackson State. They got another 5-star. Are you serious right now? I do not. So unfortunate that they're going to the same 8 schools. Apparently Jackson State got some folks hot right now. Okay. Oh, so this is the tweet put out by Coach Prime. I want to show you guys this, and then I'll probably get out of here. HBCU stand up, absolutely. This is another tweet put out recently. I mean, like in the last hour, put out by Coach Prime since we've been live on here. So if you've been live with me, you haven't seen this yet either. Let's check out and see what he's got. So he says, this is how JSU fans are celebrating right now. Yeah, this is how they're celebrating right now. I feel a shout coming on. Look at Kurt. That's Kurt Franklin. This is how we shouting right now down in Jackson, baby. JSU just landed the number 1 player in the country. I don't want to get a copyright strike, but yeah, we turned down in Jackson right now, man. We're turned. We're pretty turned. Who knows who's next? So I don't know what's going on. That makes 2 5-stars. I don't know. I haven't seen the second 5-star. I haven't seen it. If somebody can send that to me, I'll show it. But I have yet to see that. You can send it to my Twitter or my Instagram. My Twitter and Instagram are the same. JLightsy7. It's JLightsy7. Send it to my Twitter and Instagram because I haven't seen the other 5-star. But I know this one, Travis Hunter, is headed to JSU. I want to show you guys also really quick before I get out of here, Coach Prime's tweet. Coach Prime, that was his latest tweet. But he put out another tweet earlier. Well, first he actually tweeted the Travis Hunter commitment video. That's pretty cool. This is pretty cool, man. He had a series of tweets. Let's look at Coach Prime's Twitter really quick. As a proud JSU. So yeah, that's awesome. That's awesome. I want to show you his Twitter feed over the last few hours. So you guys remember, JSU's playing the Celebration Bowl this Saturday. So they were headed down to Atlanta. So they had a lot of things going on right now. This was his tweet from the 14th. So this is his tweet from yesterday. It says, early signing day approaching. This ain't no time to be playing games. Just like you athletes have options, coaches do too. Be careful. I'm just keeping it 100 with you. So that sounded like that was aimed at a specific recruit. I don't know. And then this one says, LOL. He tweeted this 12 hours ago. So he tweeted this around 1 a.m. So he must have got the confirmation that Travis was coming. So he tweeted that all them LOLs right there. That was 12 hours ago. Then he tweeted this right when the Travis rumors came out that he was decommitting from Florida State and headed to Jackson State. He said, I'm headed on a plane to beloved Atlanta, and I can't wait to land. God is good. That was that. Then he tweeted the Travis commitment video that came out an hour ago. And yeah, now he's ready to go dominate a football game that has him matched up against South Carolina State. This has been a crazy day. Shout out to Jackson State University. They landed the number 1 player in high school football, Travis Hunter. He's headed there to play for Jackson State. Leave your thoughts in the chat. Leave your thoughts in the comments on Jackson State landing the number 1 player in the country. You guys have rocked out for me for 1 hour. Thank you guys for tuning in. My name is Jeff Lightsy Jr. You can follow me on Instagram and Twitter at JLightsy7. It's Instagram and Twitter at JLightsy7, and on Facebook, Jeff Lightsy Sports. It's Facebook, Jeff Lightsy Sports. Travis Hunter, the number 1 player in the country, headed to JSU. Leave your thoughts in the comments, and we'll probably do another video about this. Thank you guys for tuning in. Hit the thumbs up button on your way out, and I'll talk to you next time. Peace.